All right, welcome to Lab 5. This is a lab focusing on layouts in ArcGIS Pro. So you're going to start by downloading the lab, and fairly large file. There's a couple different shape files in it once you download it, so it's downloading. Here we go. Make sure you save it to a convenient place like your desktop Jug 11 folder. And then once it's in there, you're going to right click and extract, or there it is, extract into your Lab 11 folder. And there it is. Okay. Okay, in there you've got the outline, same as last time. That will open up, and you want to adjust it so it takes up part of your screen, or I like to. And then you've also got the layouts project. So to open that up, we're going to do this a different way because there's an actual project this time. This is kind of like an MXD, a map document file. So you can double click on layouts project. This project is about layouts. Pro opens up. And here we go. Okay, so the items that are in here, explore the data. The map is Mojave. There's a points file. The points file is, well, this whole map is a field studies class that I did, that I usually do in the winter session. I haven't done it during COVID times. But points is things that we see in places we camp on the trip. Towns is nearby towns. There's not any nearby cities besides like Baker is a town that, here it is, shows up as Baker. Mojave Road is a kind of famous road across the middle of the desert that first the Mojave people used as they were traveling across the desert. That was a very well-traveled group of Native Americans that, like, when white people got there, they asked, and one of the dudes that they met had been to San Francisco and back. So they were, for living out in the Mojave Desert, they were a very well-traveled group of people. The Mojave Road was originally used by them. Roads is other roads. You've got Interstate 15, Interstate 40, Route 66, and then some other various paved roads. Mojave land type, National Preserve, and wilderness space. Wilderness space is specifically away from paved roads, and then counties. And boundaries is it's like a continent layer. So it's got the U.S., it's got Canada, Mexico. I clipped it. You'll see why later on. So that's the data that we're using. So we're going to start off by fine-tuning our symbology. So item 2 here. So let's look at roads. So when we click on the symbol, in the right side, the symbology tab pane comes up. So you click on the symbol, and we're going to do primary symbology, single symbol, change that to unique values. So then what comes up is we're going to go unique values and display it via the highway number. These are all the attributes, and if you dig through the attribute table, what I decided was a suitable attribute for displaying this was highway number. So we're looking for it. There it is, kind of near the bottom, 2/3 down, highway number. And there's a bunch of different highways, and then there are ones that do not have a name for highway. Those are things that are not a highway, which makes sense. So if we look at the attribute table real quick, scrolling way over to right about here is where highway number was, highway num. You can see most of them don't have a name except for the 127 blank. and so on. Most of them don't. So the only ones that actually have a value for that are named highways. So we're going to, and you've got 127, Highway 15, that's what you take to Vegas, 163, 164, Highway 40, that takes you through Arizona to Chicago eventually, 95. We're going to click on this one at the bottom, click on 127 and hold down hold down Shift, and select them all. So it selects them, and right click, and group values. Okay, so now all the highways are just one value. Under here it says label, we're just going to call that highways. And this one is the unnamed one. This is going to be roads. Okay, so for highways, we want the symbol, it loads, okay, and then this is going to be, scroll down to double. So there's double. And then properties, color, dark olivine. Let's see. Apply. Cool. Okay, that looks good. And then normal roads. Normal roads, just select it back here. It's going to be gray 40. Here we are. Apply. Cool. Highway num. All other values, let's just, in case there's anything showing up, let's change that to gray 40 as well. Apply. Great. Okay. Next item. We've got points. In here, again, we're going to change it from single symbol to unique values. And then the value is going to be camp. That's just something that I made. It tells you if it's a camp or not. It's a binary system. 1 means it was a camp. 0 means it was not a camp. So the zeros and all others. Let's see if we can do this. Group those. No, we can't group them. Well, it's okay. The all others get a shape. There we go. Okay. Circle 1. Size 10. Great. And Tuscan red. There we go. Looks very nice. Okay. And then the other one, value 1, is going to be a triangle 1 right here. Any blue, any camp tent looking blue, pick like your RAI tent color. There we go. And then size 16. Apply. That looks good. Maybe that circle's a little bit too big. Let's do size 8. Go with that. That's fine. Okay. Next, we are going to label the Mojave Road. So click on the Mojave Road. There it is. Now, a couple of ways to add labels. You could do it in the labeling tab up here, but actually, the way to add a curved label, this doesn't have any attributes on it to actually label. So we're going to go to Map, Add Graphics Layer, and that inserts a graphics layer into the map that different graphics are going to be stored in. So click on the graphics layer, do Graphics, and then from there we can just insert text. That's going to be a useful thing to do for like adding in your name, adding in any descriptions, whatever you want. So we can do straight text, click where you want it to be, and let's type Mojave Road. And that looks okay. We can do better though. Let's delete that. We can add splined text or curved text by clicking on the curve. And then just along the Mojave Road, you're going to click all the twists and turns that it's going to have. And then double click at the end. Cool. And then let's type the Mojave Road. And then click somewhere else. Okay. Now we're going to edit the symbol of that. So right click Properties, Text Symbol. Okay, and then just going through this. We want Tahoma. I guess Tahoma's fine. That looks alright. Style, bold, size, 16. Color, dark brown. Position, okay. Bold, okay, and then we want to go to formatting, and then word spacing. Let's try 300% and see what happens. Oh, that's word spacing. Letter spacing, let's do 100 as well. And then move this back down to 100%. Okay, the Mojave Road. That looks a little bit silly, but maybe it's alright. Let's go back here. And then put a halo on it. Halo, we'll do white, color white shirt, size 1, and apply. And that looks better. I could even go with, let's try 150% word spacing. And 200 for letter. Oh, and 150 for width. Look at that. Nope, too much. Okay, better. So 100%, 120% for letter width. The letter width one is new. Okay, next up we're going to label the points. So you're going to click the points layer, go to labeling up at the top under feature layer, and then class 1, label the features in this class. And we want to label the field name, that's correct, not the others. The symbols, oh, that's still for the Mojave. Okay. The appearance, let's go Arial. Regular, size 10, good. Actually, bold. And add halos onto it. And then to add a label, you want to, in the label class area, click SQL. It opens up this SQL thing. We're not going to worry about that right now. But go symbol for the class, and then so you can have all the labels in one class look the same. Appearance, we just did that. And then you're going to go halo, halo symbol. There's normal white, black, white, 50% transparency, black 50%. Let's do white this looks nice. Color. Leave it, outline, cool. Apply. See how that looks. Okay, now if you want to mess with the position of them, just click position up here. The Maplex label engine is pretty cool. There's a standard one, Maplex one is nice, but this chooses the best location for your labels, so you can set the specific positions if you want to. Best position is probably best, but here's the priority list that it will go to, so it prefers this. And then goes through the next labels as it needs to. You can do offset if you want them far away or closer. Orientation, we're good. Rotation, if you wanted to spin them, we don't. Fitting strategy, if you want things to fit, you can stack them, change them to be smaller, abbreviate, that's cool. Or go through this priority list. And then finally, remove duplicates, do not remove them. If you say you were labeling the highways, each segment would have like a Highway 40, Highway 40, Highway 40, Highway 40. You can remove the duplicate Highway 40s from that, which is a helpful thing. These are not duplicate labels, so we don't need that. Buffer, that'll make it so that the labels can't be too close together. Feature weight, this says features are more important than others. Background labels, and then unplaced labels. Let's do never remove so that it allows them to place overlapping labels. Did that change anything? No, nothing was added. Okay, the outline says convert to annotation. We're actually going to save that for the end. Because, well, I'll explain what that does later. Okay, for now that is acceptable. There's a couple overlap problems with the Mojave Road symbol and, say, Rock Spring and Lava Tube, but we should be able to fix that once we convert to annotation later on. Alright, next up we're going to add the layout and set it up. So, map. Insert, new layout. We want to go with landscape rather than letter. And then once that new layout shows up, we're going to insert our map frame. So let's go to default. We're going to go to the zoomed in map that we were working on and draw it so it takes up starting from about ½ an inch in and over down to 6.5 inches over, 6 inches wide, yep, 6.5, and 7 inches tall. Cool. That's the right amount of space. So I used the ruler up here to actually draw it so that the map was 6 inches by 7 inches. Let's click on it and see properties. How close did I actually get? Size. Oh, pretty close. 6 by 7. You can just type those in, hit enter, and it will adjust the size of your map. Now to do the position, let's go top one. It's going to be at 8 inches. Inland one, it's going to be 0.5 inches. Bottom 1, okay. Let's actually do the top one and move that. Oops. Move that down. Cool, now it's centered. Okay, next we want to add in another map frame. Now you can do a couple. This map frame is going to be a locator map that shows you where in the world the Mojave is, because it's kind of a small place, not everybody knows. For map frames, you can do a lot of different cool things: rectangle, polygon, lasso, circle, ellipse. Just do circle for now to see what it looks like. I don't think we're actually going to do it, but it looks so neat that I want to try it. Okay, now what is in this map frame? Nothing special right now, but what we're going to do is go New Map, and this one is going to be our Locator map. Now we're going to call this one the West. And into the West, let's add some data. Map, add data. Actually, let's just do it via the catalog. Folders, project, our geodatabase layouts project, and that is full of data. And in here we want boundaries and Mojave National Preserve, and that's good. Just right-click on Mojave National Preserve, zoom to layer, zooms in. Let's make that solid fill and give it a park-looking green color. All right, and then boundaries is going to be also solid fill, but gray 30. Okay. Why didn't it do it? Gray 30. Oh, that was the outline that we changed color of. Okay, cool. From there, we're going to zoom out. So you can zoom out just by mouse wheeling out. You can also do fixed zoom out right here. There we go. And actually, I don't think we need the boundaries layer in there because we have the base map. We might turn that on if this built-in base map is too distracting. We'll see. Okay, so we've got the Western US. It is set up reasonably how we want it. Let's adjust the West tab so it's over here, and then go back to our layout. Okay, so there's layout. Let's delete this circular map frame, which is cool, but not really going to work on this page. So delete. And then again, insert rectangle map frame. We want the West, the view that we had set up. And then we're going to adjust this one so that it is in line and maybe half an inch over from the other frame. And so that it takes up this bottom section of the page, just like that. And you can see it in the outline how it should look. It'll show up on mine right there. Cool. Layout. And then activate, so that we activate this map. So we activate this frame, and now we can move it around. To get an idea of what it should look like at the end, we can scroll down to the sample, and we're showing the Western US. Okay, that's set. We can close it. Now we're going to add in an extent indicator so that we can see, or really focus on the inset map where the Mojave is. So extent indicator, map frame, extent of map frame, and you can see it shows up, but it doesn't look too great. Click on the symbol over here, and it brings up the formatting area, so source, map frame, so you could switch those. We don't want to. Symbol, outline, I like to have something more visible like red. Let's apply. Is it big enough? Maybe 2. Size 2, that's good. Go back. Frame, rectangle, apply outside the extent, and that will now adjust to be the correct size to show us, to highlight that area. Okay, from here we're moving on to add in the other map elements. I'm going to change the zoom of this Mojave one. Oops. Not that. Close activation. Mojave. Change this so it looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's focused properly. That's how I want it. Close. Okay, so going through map elements, we're going to just add in all the necessary map elements. So with the Mojave selected, that map frame, we're going to go legend. And the legend comes in, it's going to pop in and look kind of funny. Click on the left side tab, options, and then show properties, and it's going to highlight over here on the side. So from the legend, we want to remove roads. We don't need to show roads. Uncheck Mojave Road. We don't need to show that. It's got a big label. Counties, don't need to show that. And boundaries, don't need to show that. So we're showing points, towns, and Mojave land type. You can see that there's still some extra things in here, so we can uncheck. Well, no, we want to show. No, we don't need to show layer name. So it gets rid of points and the others. Headings. I guess. Label. Yes, we do want the labels. Descriptions. No. So it's going to be symbol, label, description if you have any. Okay. And so then what you'll notice is we want to get rid of the all other values section. So let's remove that from our features so that we can remove it from the legend. So clicking on the feature brings up the symbology tab for that. We can right click and remove all other values, and it removes it from the map, removes it from the legend as well. Same here, Mojave land type. We're going to right click, remove the all other values, and there we go. What we also want to do is back up here in the camp layer. This is going to be that 0. Let's just edit the label so that instead of 0, it says major sites and campgrounds. Towns is good. Mojave National Preserve, that's good. Wilderness, National Park Service, we can leave those on. I think, oh, and we need to make this say not feature 1. Kind of 2 ways to remove that from the legend. One, you should be able to just delete it, and it removes it. And then instead of saying camp, that camp is referring to this in the legend. That is going to be properties. The heading here, and we don't want the heading. We want to get rid of it. So let's go symbology. Leave that. Actually, what's easier? Let's just change the name right here. Camp, and call this legend. And in the legend, it updates. Okay, legend looks good. Let's drag it down here. Next item, scale bar. Scale bar, we can choose a couple different options. Let's do the first one, and then put it right here. And then in that case, let's shove that down a little bit. Oh, just this one. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of super long scale bars. One thing that's important, let's adjust it to 20 miles. One thing that's important is that you make sure it's actually for the appropriate map frame. So if you're not sure, click on one, or let's click on this other one. And think about the numbers that it's showing, and if the numbers don't seem right, then it probably isn't right. So yeah, that requires some thought. But if you click on this one, insert scale bar, right here, then 760 miles. Now, the Mojave Road takes like a day, maybe two, to drive across, so we can assume that's not going to be 760 miles, so it's not correct. So we delete. But whichever frame is selected, that's what these elements are going to be appropriate for. So if we do another scale bar, scale 3, put it in miles, okay. We can also right-click on it, properties, and change the units to kilometers. And it's set up for kilometers now. And one fun trick that some people like kilometers, some people like miles. I like to put in both and then attach them to each other. Then highlight, right click, group, and now they're stuck together. And it looks like this cool sleek scale bar. Once you mess with your zoom, you can do the zoom full extent, and it takes you back to see the whole page. And then let's adjust these again. I keep changing my mind with this. Let's move these up. Let's put our scale bar down here. There we go. You can center it if you want to. Zoom full extent. Bring this back down. Okay, what is the next item? We've got scale bar, north arrow. Okay, insert. North arrow. Choose your favorite one. I like this simple one. You can go with the like classic tattoo, whatever. Normal north arrow. Again, this one is going to be correct for whichever map frame you have selected. So that if you're, depending on your projection or if you're actually changing the angle of these, the north arrow will be correct. I think that should go in the map frame that it's correct for, just because we have two. Grid, okay, so we're going to add in a grid just as a cool way to show direction as well. So let's select the inset map or locator map. I'm going to do grid and then choose I think this one, gray vertical labels. That looks nice. And there you go. So it shows direction and location on Earth. Way up. Zoom whole extent. It'd be nice to pin that. Okay, and then getting near the end, title. In ArcMap, you're used to seeing the insert title button. In this one, it's just insert tab, graphics and text, and then we want to do the rectangle text. From there, let's drag a box that you want the title to take up. So maybe that, and then it just says blank text, and we're going to type or copy paste the Mojave National Preserve. Enter. Oh, not enter. Just click. And then in here are we're going to format it. The appearance, font style, bold, Size, let's go something big. Let's see what that does. Maybe that's too big. Stretch this box so it fits. Size 18, that's probably good. Text color, we can do something cool like a gray shadow. And letter spacing, just try 5%. That looks like a title. Great. And then below that, we're going to insert text again. Actually, let's select that, right-click, copy, right-click, paste, so that we get another one. This is a trick to save our formatting time. So double-click, let's change the text to Desert Solitude. In Southern California. And then change that text size so that it fits on one line. Center it right underneath. Great. Okay, and then beneath that we're going to do another paragraph of text. And you can just right click and copy from the outline over here our statement from the Mojave National Preserve website. And that actually looks good, it worked. ArcMap used to be a big old pain to format that. I have it pre-formatted for you. Is there... No, it's still not great. General. Yeah. Okay. That looks good. Layout. I made another design decision. We're going to put the scale bar up inside the frame next to the north arrow. That looks a lot better. Cool. Okay. Inserting more items. We're going to do a border around the entire page that's kind of sandy desert colored. So we're going to do a rectangle, drag a box around everything. Visible, yeah. And then symbol for that rectangle. It's going to be a gradient fill, appearance, colors. That one's kind of sand colored. Topaz sand. There we go. Pattern. Oh. Linear. Yeah. And then interval. Starts on 5. Try like 300. That's cool. Okay. And then the output, we want it to draw underneath the others. I know that we can right click on it. Don't accidentally drag it down. And order, send to back. And it draws underneath everything that we have. Let's adjust it so it takes up the whole page. And there you go. Couple other things to adjust. and then you need your name, and it's pretty much all set. So you're going to go Insert, Straight Text, click, type your name, click again, text symbol. 12 is probably good. It's a normal size piece of paper. Yes, we do want to apply it. It's a normal size piece of paper, so decide if that's going to show up well on that. One way to get this to look a little bit better, go to text symbol, position, and then center it, and it will center the text here. Not all, just the one. It centers the text. And then you might notice that as you're dragging these around, they snap to each other. You can do snapping. Snapping is off now, since I clicked it. And you can drag these around more freely. So I like that kind of near the top. I like that in between them. And then you've got some more room for this. Let's see if a bigger text size works. Appearance. 12. Too big. 11. Perfect. Okay. Much better. We can turn snapping back on so that when we move things around, it'll snap to each other. Okay. Couple last things that you could change. Let's say in the Mojave map, instead of having the gray counties, turn that off. Boundaries, we don't need that on this. It might be nice to have the elevation show on there. We want symbology. And then symbology under the symbols here. Go properties, and then color properties, and then transparency is right here. We can make it slightly more transparent so that you can see the elevation underneath it just slightly. It's there. Apply. And that looks nice. Okay, back to layout. That's probably better than having the pointless gray backgrounds. Now, I'm going to say the map is done. If you want to go back and fix any of these features, you are welcome to, but I think we're at the point where we're going to go Share, Layout, PDF. Make sure your output is where you want it to be. So, desktop, the default is probably not where you want it to be. Jog 11. Lab 5, that's good. Call it your name, Lab 5. Save. It's a PDF. I think all the rest, quality, that's good enough. Usually I go for 300 DPI, so I was going to suggest 300 DPI anyway. And then export. And then once it finishes, go back to your folder and see if it is in there. It is. It looks good. And we are all set. Go ahead and submit your PDF to the link on Canvas.